So, Captain, when I was a civilian lawyer before I joined the Army back in 1993, I was a criminal defense lawyer, and the most common offense, bar none, was DUI. And when I joined the military, still the most common offense, DUI. So, what does the military typically do to somebody who gets a DUI?
So, well, it's required in Army policy that every soldier who receives a DUI also receives a general officer's memorandum of reprimand. And so this can have huge effects on any soldier's career, sailors or Marines, no matter what their rank and position. It will follow them potentially for the rest of their career.
Well, and a DUI is that you operate a motor vehicle and that you were drunk. And the government can prove you were drunk either through chemical analysis that you get a 0.08 BAC, or that you didn't have full control of your mental or physical faculties, which is proven by observational evidence, field sobriety tests, other things.
That's exactly right. In addition to that, most states and jurisdictions have a law saying that if you refuse the breathalyzer on the side of the road when you're pulled over, it's an automatic DUI as well. And so the standard can be very subjective, and often it's up to the officer on the side of the road, sometimes in bad conditions, as to whether he feels that the person is actually inebriated.
Well, and another major difference with the civilian system is the consequences, although severe, are nowhere like what happens in the military. Senior NCO, an officer, gets a DUI, has really nothing to do with their duty performance, and their career is gone. You get a DUI and you're some executive at IBM, or you're a laborer for a construction company, you're not going to lose your job because of it.
That's exactly right. Your family's not going to lose their livelihood as a result of that on the outside. Unless it's your second, third, fourth offense, something like that, you're not going to serve jail time. It's going to be fines. It's probably going to be expensive, but the consequences are so much different in the military. And I'm glad you brought that up, because as a Chief of Justice and later a Deputy Staff Judge Advocate, I often saw packets with GOMOR rebuttals that were written by a civilian defense counsel who handled the state side of the case. And I'm sure that they are perfectly competent lawyers for what they do out on the economy. However, they don't understand our system. They don't understand the differences, the nuances, and what our commanders are looking for when they're looking at these rebuttals.
I'll tell you, I'm a recovering alcoholic, okay? And I tell you, the first thing that you need to identify if somebody gets a DUI is whether that was a one-off, that they made a mistake, that they just had too much to drink, or that there's a fundamental underlying problem. Because if we just solve the legal problem without addressing the underlying problem, it's going to repeat itself. Whether it's another DUI, whether it's a DV, whether it's, health issues, we've got to figure out, hey, is this a one-off or is this a real problem?
And I'm glad you brought that up too. That is something that I saw repeatedly throughout my military career. You have high-performing individuals in the military, done the right thing for a decade or more at times, and then suddenly this blemish appears on their record. The first question that you want to make sure that the commander's asking is why? What's going on behind the scenes? Because it's about holistically not just preserving the service member's career, but ensuring that their life continues on a positive trajectory as well. And that context is so important for the commander to make an informed decision as to what they should do with that reprimand.
Right. And now from a legal, technical perspective, we're going to want to look at police reports. We're going to look at the field sobriety test. We're going to want to analyze the intoxilizer. We're going to want to look, if it's in the United States, the reason for the stop. There are all kinds of legal mumbo jumbo, which is a really legal term. We're going to want to look at that to figure out, is it a good stop? Is it a good test? Is it good FSTs, right? That carries a zero weight in a GOMOR.
100% correct. So I've been in the room for countless numbers of these, whether that be at the company level, when that commander's making a recommendation, battalion, brigade level, because the the GOs, they really, really take into account commander recommendations, because so often those GOs do not know the soldier. To them, that soldier is a packet. They don't know the individual. And so it's so important to get involved with those commanders at those levels and to make sure that the narrative in the rebuttal is appropriate for what this action is, which is not a court. General officers, by and large, do not think like judges. They don't think like juries. There's not rules of evidence. Just like you said, those nuances really don't matter that much to them. What matters is a pragmatic view of what happened, why it happened, and what the result needs to be.
I'll tell you, from my perspective, the single most important thing that somebody facing a DUI can do is have excellent performance, followed by acceptance of what they've done and how they're correcting it, right? Because really, when a GO is sitting there going, hey, this guy or gal, somebody we want serving with us, it's how you respond to your mistakes that make you different than somebody who hides behind technicalities.
That's exactly right. That is exactly what these commanders are thinking about. What should this person's future in the military be? Is this someone that we want to continue on our team? It is someone who can accept their mistakes, learn, move on, improve, and continue to be trusted and valuable on the team.
Right. And as we mentioned, with Article 15's, the standards going to preponderance of the evidence, it really doesn't matter anymore if you had actual physical control of the vehicle, because the commander's like, well, you were drinking, you were in your car, you had access to the keys. All right, we'll overlook the fact that maybe technically there wasn't control of the vehicle, where in a court of law, we're going to win that 98 out of 100 times. In a GOMOR, we're going to lose it 98 out of 100 times.
Exactly right, because what's going through that commander's head at the time is poor decision making, and the fact that that commander has all of these programs within their command that they put immense resources and time behind to make sure that service members understand the rules, they understand risk management, and all that commander sees is a packet of a soldier, sailor, or Marine who's made a poor decision, and they want to know what they're going to do about it. They don't want those technicalities.
No, they want a soldier, sailor, airman, Marine, Coast Guardsman, Guardian today to stand up and go, hey, I made a mistake. Here's why I made that mistake, the circumstances. Here's why it's not going to happen again.
That's exactly right.
Look, if you're facing a DUI and you need some help, we're here for you. We're the Law Office of William Helixon. We are your warrior advocates. You defend the nation. We defend you.